The shock of the 2020 NFL offseason was, of course, Tom Brady leaving the New England Patriots to join the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Bruce Arians. Now that we finally got to see Brady and Arians work together for a full year, we now know what these two guys are about. So, did Brady make the right choice by joining Tampa Bay, and how was it working out between the two? First, I'd like to acknowledge that the majority of the people who watch our videos aren't subscribed to the channel. Help us out by subscribing and joining us on our way to 100K, because it's coming fast and you don't want to miss your opportunity to enlist in the J&D Army. On Sunday, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were the story of the day after they took down the New Orleans Saints 30-20 in the NFL divisional round. That, of course, was the third matchup between the NFC South foes and the only one that the Bucs won this season. Now, for starters, it is so difficult to beat a team 3 times in a row in an NFL season. Being able to beat a team twice in a row is hard enough as is, but having to go up again on a third time is just ridiculously hard. But this time the Bucs finally figured out how to beat the Saints after getting absolutely manhandled in their first contest and making a bit of a fight in the second. This, of course, puts the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFC Championship game. Now, for starters, I'd love to point out that Tom Brady now has more NFC Championship appearances than the Dallas Cowboys since 1997, but that's a topic for another day. Cups of the rose. System, I didn't see where the puzzle pieces for Tom Brady to kind of fit in there. And, well, I'm here to admit that it worked. After 20 years and 9 Super Bowl appearances with the New England Patriots, Tom Brady decided to join the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Brady is the undeniable GOAT. He won 6 Super Bowls in New England, was the MVP in 4 of them, and Brady won 3 league MVPs. Bill Belichick and Tom Brady put together the greatest dynasty of all time. But in the offseason, he joined forces with Bruce Arians. Now, Bruce Arians is a 2-time Coach of the Year after spending time with the Indianapolis Colts when he was an interim head coach and the Arizona Cardinals. But of course, the quarterback whisperer is most known for his time slinging the ball for Virginia Tech back in the day. I'm kidding though.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Hey, funny guy! I got a joke for you!
Cups of the rose, bitches in my old phone.
But seriously, that pass-heavy offense that Arians loves to run couldn't be more opposite of the Belichick system that Brady was under in New England. Brady strived with the Patriots just by giving what the defense would give him, even if it was only a few yards. On the other hand, Arians has him going for deep balls and airing it out on all 3 downs. The stats really tell the story right here. They also show us that, as dominant as Brady's stats have been in his career, they'd likely be even better if he was under Arians all this time. At age 43, his 40 touchdowns he threw this season were the second most of his career, behind his 50 touchdown season when he won MVP back in 2007 while playing alongside Randy Moss. That Arians offense includes a lot more pass attempts though, leading to 12 interceptions thrown, tied for the 5th most of his career. The Buccaneers would not be considered an elite team this season, especially since they couldn't win their division, but they were damn good. Tampa Bay went 11-5, secured a wildcard spot in the playoffs where they eventually faced off against Washington. Of course, Washington actually gave them somewhat of a game, led by the surprise of undrafted quarterback Taylor Heineke, but Tom Brady and Tampa Bay did prevail in the end. Of course, the Bucs roster is absolutely loaded past just Tom Brady at quarterback. His former tight end in New England, Rob Gronkowski, joined him via trade in Tampa Bay and has remained one of his favorite targets. Now, I'll admit, in the offseason, I really didn't like that Gronkowski went and moved him. I was just overall concerned that the NFL was going in the way of the NBA with stars just moving around all the time. Of course, I'm talking more or less of the Kevin Durant super team with the Golden State Warriors, but that was kind of my worry. And while that hasn't happened in the NFL, it has been interesting to see how Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski, who was literally retired, decided to just, up and move. Of course, Brady being a free agent, he's able to do whatever he wants. His moves are his moves. But past him, it was kind of weird seeing the way that Gronkowski moved, and of course, Leonard Fournette, because of course, Leonard Fournette, the former former first-round pick of the Jacksonville Jaguars, was cut, and he became a free agent, later joining the Bucs. But the difference here is that this Tampa Bay roster, just pre-Brady, was already fairly stacked, and that starts with his monster wide receiver options. Now remember, the biggest narrative with Tom Brady in his final seasons in New England was saying that he had a lack of receiver talent. Now look, I'll be the first to admit that, yeah, I believe he does. Jacoby Myers has a bit of a bright future, but that guy shouldn't be a 1 or 2 on any NFL team. Julian Edelman is fantastic, but that's a slot guy, and he can only do really as much as he can. And N'Keal Harry took a pretty long time to finally get going in the league, and of course he had pretty much injuries throughout his entire first year and only year with Tom Brady at quarterback. Additionally, Ronald Jones at running back, and they have O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate at tight end, and that only helps load up the Bucs' offensive power. Now, Breeze hit that crazy drop-off that we've seen from so many other people throughout time once the age starts getting up there in the NFL. But Tom Brady, it just hasn't happened. Now, he's not the same player, like I said, but the fact that this guy is still a top 10 quarterback in my mind blows my mind. No, I'm not going to take Tom Brady over a Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, any of those guys, but the fact that Tom Brady is still kicking it when this guy was literally drafted into the league before Darren was even born is ridiculous. Overall, I don't personally like the Bucs. I've rooted against Tom Brady for years, but I think you finally need to sit down and appreciate greatness. Now, personally, I do actually root for Bruce Arians because he's a former Virginia Tech alum and I'm actually a student at Virginia Tech, so I have a little bit of a soft spot for Bruce Arians, which is one of the reasons why I am pretty fond of the Bucs and will be rooting for them probably for the foreseeable future, even after Tom Brady. But sometimes you just need to sit back and respect the greatness of Tom Brady. Watching Tom Brady work with Bruce Arians has been a real pleasure this year, and remember, he has 1 year left on that deal, so we should at least get 1 more year of Tom Brady at age 44. And who knows, maybe by next year he'll be going for his 8th Super Bowl ring. Thanks for watching. If you love JD Productions, check out JD Hoops, where we recently uploaded our first video. Go subscribe and hit that notifications bell, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter for more J&D. We read all of our DMs and love hearing what you have to say.